Akarana with Yosefo in there making a big solid tackle. Now we've got Tyrell Toru getting up towards the halfway line. And there's Anai, in fact, Fa'avai with the kick. He's got good distance on that one, all the way back to Gordon Omaroa at fullback. And Akarana, their set starts deep in their own half. Good to see Wellington getting to their kick.
Yeah, good sets from both sides, actually. Good, great chat from Akarana. First off the bat, they wanted me to prove a point here earlier on in this game, but yes, good completion as well from the Orcas. They got their ball, drove down that field, got a good kick away opportunity to try and put some pressure on Akarana down this end of the field.
This is Smith coming forward now, the captain, Daniel Smith from Point Chevalier. And now over the halfway line go the Falcons. Waiting at dummy half is Delano Atai. He's been very impressive at hooker, and referee, I think, has just seen a little error at the play the ball there by Nu'uliatia, so it's going to be a scrum for Wellington.
I don't actually think that ball hit the ground, but unfortunate in the end, just couldn't quite complete that set. No knock on there.
Well, he didn't touch it with his foot, he just walked over it, so yes, in the eyes of the referee, that was an incorrect play the ball, so Wellington get possession now, and they've got a full set right on the halfway line. Here's a good little surge coming forward right off the scrum from Pharrell Gray. Now they're going to plug the short side again through Fala Loloto Va. Plenty of chatter too. Wellington keen to make an impression. Here is Terrence Schuster. Bursts through tackles and heads up towards the 10. Terrence Schuster, that's the goal line just in front of him. What a run by the prop right there. And a little mistake. That's such a shame there for the Orcas. They had Akarana under pressure.
Yeah, big Schuster. I mean, he split that defence there. He's a big body. I think Akarana were really expecting how tough this run was going to be. He just strolled through some wayward arms there. Kept the legs pumping, got pulled up just a little short of the line, but just a bobble right at the end here. Yep.
That's
a little bit of a wake-up call for Akarana.
Yeah, no, it's a hard luck there for Terrence Schuster, Porirua Vikings player. Didn't play last week, so he's back in the side today. But Wellington's defence is going to be the real question mark today because there's firepower right across the Akarana lineup.
Yeah, indeed. And I think after last week they got a real wake-up call against Waikato. Really could have almost lost that game. They really took their foot off the pedal in that second half. I suppose that's something maybe that has buoyed on Wellington Orcas today as well, seeing that potentially that this side is beatable if they manage to hold on to the ball for long enough. But these sort of simple errors and penalties definitely won't help their cause today, Wellington.
No, particularly late in the counters, that one came right there because it's going to give Akarana a full set inside Wellington's half. So full set, 30 metres out. And Akarana now, straight away comes Liaso. Also got a try last week in that win over Waikato by 28 points to 24. Now Davis. And Atai waits at dummy half. Smith gives it to Nu'uliatia once more. Looking to set it up close to the line now. Akarana looking confident here. Nicely done by Baker, but they dropped it right on the line. Well, Baker did great. He hit the line nice and flat. But the pass from him to the outside player was dropped.
Yeah, nice line, nice angle, asked some questions. I think the winger out there for Wellington Orcas it was who actually just managed to get his arm just in the way and disrupt that pass. Maybe knock down the arm of the ball runner. So
well, Wellington have been keen. Now they've got to have some good solid runs out of their own end here. So see Tulelipa take the first carry. It's a good dab out of dummy half. And there's the penalty for Wellington. So far in these first 5 or 6 minutes, Wellington have actually kind of reverted to what we saw from them in that game against Counties Manukau a couple of weeks ago, if you recall that one, where they started off pretty solid in that game as well.
Yeah, they did. They just weren't able to maintain that pressure on the back of some great completions from Counties. That was really unfortunate. That was on. And this guy is probably one of their most lethal ball runners, especially in broken play like this, Honetana.
So Honetana, what a return of the football and a good effort from him to actually get it inside the field of play. And there's some good keen Wellington defence again that forces the error. Well, some interesting action there. Honetana did brilliantly to keep it inside the field of play, not lose his balance over the touchline and then return it, as we've seen him run with the ball. He's a dangerous runner.
That was great work, but just unfortunately, just some sort of basic errors from Akarana creeping into the game this early stage of the match. The dial-up down in Wellington is slow.
Well, there's a penalty for Wellington. Apologies about the slight technical issues that we've got going at the moment. We are trying to rectify those as quickly as we can. Fingers crossed we will have all of those sorted for you. But Wellington getting penalties at vital times here, just getting themselves out of trouble a little bit.
Yeah, and look, they have to utilise these opportunities well. At the very least, complete a set. Start wearing down the Akarana defence. The only way to do it is to apply pressure, ask some questions. Last week they didn't put themselves in good positions in terms of structure. To really ask the defensive line many questions, but this week they look a lot more motivated.
This lad, Leolorfi, keep your eye on him. He's a big, powerful runner. And now Wellington looking good on the left edge here. Good little surge from VAR once again. They're only a few metres out. Pama Akavi waits at dummy half. Fa'avai gives it back to Taron Schuster again. Taron Schuster's there. Can he get the ball down? He's held up. Well, I like the tactic of using the big boppers up the middle. Leolorfi, you can see just hobbling in the background of that shot there.
Yeah, Schuster looks like a handful. He's got good, strong legs. Pushes his way through the line. That's going to work for them at some stage.
And now Leolorfi is down injured, and Wellington would be loath to lose this fella. Scored the try last week for the Orcas in that loss to the South Island. And he was a very effective ball carrier for them. So hopefully they can get Leolorfi, get to play or get back into play shortly. Don't know about that though, He doesn't look like he's a happy camper at the moment. Concern over that right ankle.
Yeah. He came up a little bit gingerly after that first run of his. Can't blame cramp on that one. I'm sure it's maybe a high ankle sprain.
Let's see if we can pick this up here. It's probably in that tackle as he got tackled right around the ankles by Smith there. Maybe just tweaked it. So Leolorfi's going to be replaced. We'll get McMurchie, and Zach McMurchie's going to come on for his debut, but let's hope this isn't the end of Leolorfi, but that doesn't look good, does it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he'll be able to recover from that, but it's unfortunate for Wellington. It's a big body that they probably needed around the middle there to really drive some pressure up the middle.
And we'll see Zach McMurchie come on, the Wainui Yamata player. This is his first game, first appearance for the Orcas in this competition this year. And there's Fa'avai's kick. Wow, it's rebounded and it's been picked up by Akarana. But Omaroa, Gordon did well to stay in the field of play there. Akarana survived that attack, which could have been so different if Leolofi hadn't been injured. Now Ratima can feed it out to Liaso. But look at this Wellington defence. It's keen, isn't it? Much keener than it was last week. They're up there in the faces, trying to make dominant tackles and driving players back and forcing errors. And now McMurphy's picked up the ball for Wellington. So here they go, hot on attack again. Now Vowles, into the line he goes, 10 metres out. Wellington are up for this game today. Here's Tarrant Schuster again. Looking for that offload. Still 5 metres out, so Akarana's defence holding. Anai looking for Gray, who's driving towards the line again. And he's held up as well. Already Pharrell Gray looking much better. Just a bit wider, isn't he? Played second row last couple of weeks. Bit more space for him. Let's have a look at Vowles again. Taken strongly by Nu'uliatia. There's Fa'avai, giving it to Anai. Oh, intercepted! And Akarana survive. It is Liaso who picked it up. And now Honetana looking for some second phase play, but Caleb August makes a good tackle for the Orcas.
Yeah, not really enthusiastic, the Wellington Orcas. Hopefully they'll get to execute those fifth tackle options a little bit better. It was the second time in a row that was sort of easily picked up by Akarana at the end of the set, but
I tell you what, they're getting not much really front foot running ball at the moment. Akarana. Can Wellington's defence though continue with this high intensity? Back it goes to Baker with the kick. And all the way back to Wellington's goal line. And a keen chase by Akarana. This is a good competitive game so far.
They're doing a fantastic job, and they're rattling the Akarana runners who probably haven't faced this type of like resistance in the last couple of weeks, especially this early on in the game.
August hit hard by Delano Atai. He's Vowles again, hit hard by his opposite number, Daniel Smith. That was a good tackle by the Akarana captain. Wellington not quite getting the meters on that set, but that's an excellent kick.
It sits up, it's a fantastic kick. See where the chase is.
Wow, look at all the black jumpers there. There's 5 of them there. And Gordon Omaroa just staying inside the field of play. No space here for Talanga, or Talianga rather. Baker. There's a good little search, finding some tackle bust here by Finasietu, and he's returned the ball brilliantly there. So for the first time really in the game, Wellington missed some tackles. And it was a great run by Finasietu. Let's see if Akarana can spread it here. This is Liaso. Liaso! Oh, that's brilliant by the centre. And here comes the first try. Well, it's taken a long time for Akarana to strike. But finally they've busted through a very good Wellington defence and scoring Nixon Liaso. It is 4 points to 0.
Yeah, once again, this is the run that, well, this is the back end of it. The run that set it up was by the big forward from Akarana, who busted them open, put them on the back foot. Wellington, they were backpedaling after that, and this was a fantastic run from Liaso. Held the ball in 2 hands. He knows he's got a threat outside, and Honetana showed the ball a couple of times and managed to slice through with his pace and size. Is too good for the Wellington defence. So they've done a fantastic job in this opening 14 minutes of the game to put some pressure on Akarana. This time just 1 or 2 misses and it cost them.
Well, it was the other centre that set it up, Alex Ray Finasietu. vice-captain of this team. Just getting the ability to bust through a couple of tackles. And now the challenge for Wellington is to keep it going. Once they've been broken for the first time in the 2 games they've played, they've struggled with their resilience in the 2 games that they've played. Let's see if they can really roll their sleeves up and carry on with what we've seen from them in these first 14 minutes. And here's the conversion from Gordon Omoroa. It's 6 points to 0.
Yeah, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, they say losing becomes an attitude. And when you sort of concede a try or two, it is very easy for that sort of attitude to creep back into your gameplay. I hope Wellington are buoyed by the fact that they were probably the better team for the opening 15 minutes of this game. Put a lot of pressure on Akarana. If they can maintain that level of energy and pressure, they'll go a long way in this game.
Well, we're about to find out if Wellington are able to get some reward. Good kick-off too. Davis is going to return the ball here for Akarana, and again the chase is pretty effective by Wellington. Konatana, and here comes Ratima. Very solid 5'8". It's the glue of this team. And the defence just a little keen there by Wellington. And Terrence Schuster and Pama Akavi are the players who have been penalised.
Yeah, fine balance between the wrestle and holding down, testing out our referee, just giving yourself an opportunity to get back on side as quick as possible, but that one just a little bit long.
So Akarana on the halfway line here. Ratima, each player out there now. Manukau Piatau, St Paul's college player from last year, been playing in the Dean Bell Cup, and that's the under-18s age group. It's Daniel Smith. That's terrific right there. And they've got a good roll on here. As Noatia, well, the combination with Atai was not quite as crisp as it could have been, and that really is an unforced error, that one.
I think that's the second time, to be honest. They've had that little short ball and come up with pretty much exactly the same error. So just execution at the moment, leading them down Akarana.
Gee, they had a good momentum building there, didn't they, through Daniel Smith. So Wellington again forced to, last couple of sets have been deep in their own half. They just need to get to their kick here. Away comes Joshua Williams.
He was rather good for them last week in a pretty well-beaten side.
Akavi hit hard by Finau Sietu, but he's offloaded the ball, and here comes Fa'avai. Terrence Schuster on that short side again. He gets those big legs pumping, and away goes the big fella. Ambitious passing Gray. Here's Pharrell Gray. Oh, what a brilliant try for Wellington. That was very classy. And it's Farrell Gray who goes over. 6 points to 4.
Kick to come in a pretty good position as well. Once again, it's this big man Schuster. He's causing them all sorts of trouble. They just held off him for too long. It ended up being a one-on-one with the halfback, and then the lob over the top to Gray, who, like we mentioned, played second row last week. I like him out in the centres. He's big, he's strong. He's causing those sort of edge players a little bit of grief out there. So, referee
Jack Fevers
just having a little chat to a halfback about something, but
well, maybe he was just saying that was a really good play.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Fantastic. If you can score a few more of those, then you might win.
How good has Terrence Schuster been? Wow, it's a great offload.
I mean, the good thing is, too, he's recognising that Akarana side is just holding back off him a little bit every time he gets the ball, and he wants the ball now. he's starting to cause the defensive line some issues, even if he's just pushing through a little bit.
We set a vie with this conversion attempt. And that one's all good in the hood. So it is 6-all. And I tell you what, Wellington really deserved to score. Even though they had to work hard and execute a brilliant play down that short side, they deserve to be locked up at 6-all after a very good first 20 minutes.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, great run from Great. Really, he just had the confidence in his own abilities to be able to push through a couple of defenders. Had the pace to get there. Before this game started, with Gray going out to centre, I was worried that he might not get his hands on the ball enough, just being that he was such a workhorse last week. Did a great job every time he got involved, but straight away, his first opening stanza of this game, he's made his presence felt.
Well, plenty for Akarana to think about, and their coach Jeff Morton as well, as we see McMurchie with the first carry for Wellington. Little messy play the ball. McMurchie thought there was a bit of influence from the Akarana players there, but referee Phoebus didn't see it that way.
It was a 50-51, yeah, I agree. Might have been a little touch of the arm there that forced that ball loose, but you got to focus when you play the ball, especially at this stage, directly after a try. A complete set would have been ideal.
What an opportunity here for Akarana to score more points here through Ratama Gordon-Omoroa. Here's Honatana, the fleet-footed Honatana. He's too tough. Can't get it down though. Honatana in the end. Wellington hold him up really well. Kalan Clyde out there, and that is classic Kalan Clyde right there. He has scored basically with his first touch of the competition. And there is the second try, 10 points to 6. We've seen Kalan Clyde in rep footy for a couple of seasons, and this is classic him. He's so quick from dummy half.
Yeah, I mean, Honetana's run as well, just fantastic job. Caused the defense all sorts. He's been probably my favourite player in this whole competition. But yeah, that was clever from Kalan Clyde. A little look out to the right. Just showed the defense that he was looking for that long ball. Little right foot step and dived under.
Kalan Clyde, an ex-Northlander. We've seen him play for the Northland 18s teams and 18s team rather in 2021, then come through into this team last year. Saw him in the Future Warriors team last year too. Kalan Clyde. And he also made his Fox Memorial debut for the Te Aratu Roosters last year. Very promising hooker. And now here's Gordon Omoroa. With the conversion attempt. Haven't really seen him feature too strongly. How good was he last week, Gordon Omoroa? And that one's gone through the sticks, so it's 12 points to 6. Akarana up with about 12 minutes left in this first half. Reminding you, if you're watching this game, that we have 35-minute halves at this age group, under 20s. Well, Wellington come back well after the conceding of the first try. They have to do it again. As Vi restarts for Wellington. Again, a pretty enthusiastic chase by the Orcas. Akarana pinned inside their 20. Davis looking for that penalty again. And now Smith. No, remember too, we'll be picking a tournament team out of these 6 sides, as Clyde has a little dart from dummy half. We'll be doing that on the before the finals in the first week of April, as Smith is making a very good quest of being the lock in that team. Really hasn't put a foot wrong until right there.
Once again, maybe just, like he probably deserved the right to play that ball fast to Daniel Smith. Tell you what, Cannon Clyde has had an impact as soon as he's come onto the field. Obviously, he's just scored a try, but every time he's touched the ball, a dummy half as well, he's making inroads. And yeah, I suppose it's just a lapse in concentration there.
Yeah, Smith, the tiniest of fumbles, picked up by referee Jack Fevers. So Wellington are going to get set near the halfway line, and straight away here comes Gray. It's Pharrell Gray again. Check that out right there. How good has Pharrell Gray been in this game? Wow, individual brilliance. Give him a bonus point for that try.
Well, you go back to what's working. And this edge out here was a nice little play. That's a halfback folded back into the blind side and just created a little overlap. The centre on that right side, Fino Sietu, he sort of came up a little bit fast and left Gray on his own. Gray had the size and the speed to outpace the winger, put on a couple of fends, and I don't think he knows any other way except for long-range tries for Al Gray. Picks up his second.
Well, what a transformation from him, playing in the second row, not really getting opportunities in the first couple of weeks, moving one position wider on that left side, and wow, now we're seeing him flourish. What a superb try.
Yeah, I feel like he's gone to Dan McEwen during the week and said, actually, I'm not a back row, I'm a centre.
Yes.
Maybe put me back out there and I'll do some damage.
That's going to be a contender right there to be try of the tournament.
Individual brilliance, but why not get the big man up against maybe a weaker defender out on that right edge for Akarana.
Whāwhai has well done, converted that try. That one deserved to be converted, didn't it? So 12 points all. Wellington comes straight back again after conceding that second try. And we've got a nice competitive game of under-20s rugby league here at Rugby League Park.
Let's hope they've learnt the lessons from the last try. They complete this set. Akarana just can't get frustrated here. They must know that in terms of strike power across the field, they're littered with it. So while things might not be going their way and there's a few errors creeping into their game, they definitely have the power to come home over the Wellington Orcas in this game.
It's all about composure, isn't it? For them at the moment, not to get too rattled as McMurchie. Wellington still pinned on their 10-metre line at the moment. Some keen defence from Akarana. As we see Tyrell Toru playing that one. Here's Va again. Squeeze between those two defenders that time. Kick earlier in the count that time. Bit of space. Oh, it's a 40-20. I think that one bounced just inside the field of play. Wellington got it on a string right now. How good was that kick?
Whāwhai's got a great kick on him. Oh, that was well inside the 40. That's the 20 there where the flagpole is. So great work.
Well, Wellington could take the lead here, and the line speed from Akarana just a little bit sluggish on that play. Eddie Seve making the tackle. Here comes McMurchie again. He's taken the place, remember, of Leolofi, who we've not seen return to the field so far. That was a little dab from dummy half from Pama Akavi. The hooker, McMurchie. Poor pass. Whāwhai just grabs it, so Wellington's looking a little disorganised. Now they might get some shape into their attack as Anai looks to weave some magic on this right-hand side. All the damage on the left so far. Through Pharrell Gray. And they're coming back to that side now as Vowles hauls it out to Farvai. And the kick is taken nicely there on the right wing side by Telianga. And so Akarana come back to the 20 for a 7-tackle set. Wellington's defence is going to have to get sorted here as Honatana takes the first carry.
Just a little bit slow-mo, that whole attacking set from Wellington. Not enough structure, not enough depth. Now a penalty just to escalate things. Compound that error on the back of that kick. So
Akarana get this a relieving penalty. Important set here for both teams here. 5 minutes out from halftime. Wellington's defence just a little keen, rushing up a little quickly on that left edge that time. So exactly 5 minutes left in this first half, and now here comes Akarana with a full set. Inside Wellington's 20 is Pitao. Is taken down. Clyde at dummy half. Here goes Kalan Clyde looking for some space close to the ruck. Wrestled to the ground by Anai. Davis. Now Smith. That's Baker. Here comes Gordon Omaroa. This is a nice shift of the ball, and that's very well executed. And going over to score another try in the competition, Makaya Telianga. And Akarana back in front.
Nice and simple rugby league here from Akarana. Just shifted the ball out the back. It was probably even a little bit deep, but the swiftness of the pass and the overlap on that right-hand side was too good for Wellington to cover. So try just a couple of minutes out from half-time. That'll help them going into the sheds. Might settle Jeff Morton down a little bit.
Yes. Telianga got 3 tries rather last week. Gets his 4th try of the competition now. Played at centre last week and now out on the wing. So Nehemiah Gordon Omaroa with his toughest kick to come of the day. This is Michael Palio, who's about to come into the game. Francis Ledger in there, the assistant coach of this team, barking instructions. And all these young lads will be well advised to listen what Ledger has to say. An awful lot of rugby league experience and knowledge in his head. Going to be waved away. So 16 points to 12, 3 tries to 2. Really good half of football between these two sides. And one feature of this competition after the first round, we thought Waikato, Wellington and Bay of Plenty all look well off the pace. But we're seeing signs that all 3 are actually have pulled their socks up since that first round. Why? And they're actually making games of all the contests that they've been in since, which is good.
Yeah, and I suppose it's a little bit of a pity that really there's only 3 rounds in this competition to get their combinations together to find some momentum over the length of this tournament. And then things sort of change again throughout the semi-finals. But yeah, we really have seen a lift in the quality of rugby league, and the teams in these rural teams are sort of playing.
Smith, a little shift of the ball there. Akarana looking to come out of their 20 again. There's Pietao's run, and away goes Kalan Clyde again. Well, hands let Dan Smith down there, and it's picked up by the Wellington Orcas.
Go back to Gray.
Exactly, and they're shifting it out to that left, and here comes VAR. Oh, chance here for Wellington to square it up, and here comes Talio, who's fresh onto the field. Taken down by Eddie Seve. Now it's heading out to Gray on this left flank again. Here he is. 2 tries for Gray so far, maybe 3 here. That is 3 tries. Well, he's unstoppable right now. Pharrell Gray, 16 apiece.
Yeah, Finesietu, he's been great on attack himself, but this time, once again, just coming up with some, well, it's just not tough enough, not strong enough. He needs to make a statement out there against Gray. Otherwise, they're going to keep going down that side, and Gray's going to keep gaining confidence every time he touches the ball. A great answer for Wellington. You know, could possibly go into this first half leading following this kick, but been a good game of rugby league for the first 35 minutes.
Yeah, has it what? Don't forget, we've got another game coming up after this one. We're in Rotorua for Waikato versus Bay of Plenty. Looking forward to seeing that game at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and the third and final game of the round down in Dunedin tomorrow midday between the South Island and Counties Manukau. The way that's heading, that one will get top spot heading into the semi-finals next week. So Fa'avai here can convert this try. Wellington will be in front at half-time. And he's done it. Well, Wellington Orcas. Here's a turn up for the books. They lead at halftime over the Akarana Falcons in this Ruben Wiki Cup game, thanks to some brilliant tries by Pharrell Gray, who scored all of them, and 3 really good conversions by Afa Ese Fa'avai. They lead Akarana by 18-16.
Why am I going to my 5th Olympic Games?
Valerie Adams.
I want to do this for my babies. I want to do this to inspire them. But I know this journey is going to be the most difficult campaign that I'll ever embark on.
Another day, another gold medal winning throw.
Anyone who goes undefeated for over 100 events is superhuman.
I was always the tallest kid at primary school. I'm 6'4" at 12.
She was teased so much.
I just never fit in. When we came into the picture, there was already a few kids before us.
My version is that there's 13 of us.
But it depends on who you ask.
Margaret, Barry,
Steve, Gabby, Lisa,
Ralph, Warren.
I don't want to miss anybody else.
Have I said Patty? When I was born, we were living in Tonga for a period of time. My sister and I and my mum came to New Zealand and tried to adapt to New Zealand way of life.
Valerie's very first competition, she didn't have shoes.
We had no money, but we had love. When my mum passed away, I made a commitment to her that I was going to continue this dream. It was my light. It was my motivation. This time next week, I'm going to be leaving New Zealand for 4 months. It's the longest time I've been away from my kids.
This is greatness. This is what it takes.
I am 36. I'm not favoured to medal, but I'm up to the challenge. I was going through excruciating pain.
Because at that point, I thought I could be a solo dad, for the rest of my life.
She's putting back into the community, both in New Zealand and in Tonga.
She works so hard. She sacrifices so much.
I miss you. Very proud of you.
Break out the brackets. It's time for some match play. Live on Sky Sport.
Look at this. Scotty Scheffler. Wow. Oh, this guy's on fire.
Starts Thursday. Live Sky Sport 6.
Sky Super Rugby Open, live on Sky Sport.
I've never done anything interesting or remarkable in my life.
Oh, you used to teach me.
Sorry?
Ari.
Hello. I want to be a woman of the world.
A very fine vintage.
It's just from the minibar.
Oh, you mean me?
Just teasing.
Righto.
Come on, Nancy Stokes. Come have a dance with me.
Leo Grand, you're the only adventure I've ever had.
Good luck to you, Leo Grand. Wednesday, Sky Movies premiere.
Cornwall has been part of my life for as long as I can remember.
Travel back to where it all began.
To explain why I made this place my home.
Meeting the faces and seeing the places that inspired his love for food. New season, Rick Stein's Cornwall, starts tonight 7:30 on Living.
I got you!
You know where we are? We're gonna find a way back home together.
More sinkholes are coming. You need to tell me what you know.
The answer is inside that building.
Does that mean there's a way out of here?
I just want my family back.
5 for La Brea, Thursday.
Watch our Wahine light up your screens.
Huzzah! A glow of game-changing goddesses.
Here we go.
Whether we're on the pitch, behind the scenes,
look at these women,
or in the spotlight.
From this moment, I am going to follow my own opinion.
We're changing the landscape of sport
and bringing you more of our stories than ever before.
This is the start of something big.
Together we've proven possible is just the beginning.
When it comes to the blues, you just gotta have that rhythm.
Graham Potter knows he'll be facing the music once again.
But if you're playing out of tune, it's harder to find your groove.
There's another desperate defeat for Everton.
With the run-in on the horizon.
A vital win for Chelsea.
Who can get back on song?
Instant inspiration.
It's Chelsea versus Everton.
The championship that delivers it all. Women's Six Nations starts March 26th live on Sky Sport.
It's thumbs up, fist bumps, and high fives all around.
Tears, emotions, drama, lots of drama.
The drama.
It's good.
The CGW team are flying into action.
Man, oh man, what a shot.
I'm guessing that was good.
To deliver all the latest sports news.
Is this the ad lib?
Yes, this is the end. We do it all for you. You're so lucky.
Crowd goes wild. Monday and Thursday, Sky Sport. Brought to you by Sky Sport Now.
This year, everything changes. This is Supercars Gen 3. Camaro beat Mustang.
This is going to be a ripper.
After his record-breaking season, the rest of the grid is out to stop the reign of the kids.
Shane Van Gisbergen just been extraordinary.
And he's turning. What a battle.
Melbourne Super Sprint starts March 30th, live Sky Sport. Coverage proudly brought to you by Repco.
Watch our Wahine light up your screens.
Huzzah! A glow of game-changing goddesses.
Here we go.
Whether we're on the pitch, behind the scenes,
look at these women,
or in the spotlight.
From this moment, I am going to follow my own opinion.
We're changing the landscape of sport
and bringing you more of our stories than ever before.
This is the start of something big.
Together we've proven possible is just the beginning.
This season, get behind the LPGA Tour.
What a shot from Nelly Corder. It's going to be a tap in.
Good drive from Lydia Ko.
Stay fixed on these athletes as they have fun along the way.
Well, how good is that?
Beautifully played.
The LPGA, live all season with Sky Sport.
So half-time here at Rugby League Park in Wellington. Wellington Orcas leading Akarana by 18 points to 16. Really good half of football by the Wellington Orcas. Remember, they have been soundly beaten in their two games today. Tough draw for them, losing to Counties Manukau 38-4, and then last week 58-6 to the South Island. But they're making a much better game of it today, and there was a lot of defensive intensity from them in the first 20 minutes, and they turned that defensive intensity into execution on attack with 3 brilliant tries to Pharrell Gray.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that intensity is what really has kept them in the game. The enthusiasm they showed as soon as they came out onto the field in terms of their defensive attitude has been fantastic. And on the back of this, I mean, their structure hasn't been amazing, but the individual brilliance from Pharrell Gray has been, I suppose, the highlight of this game. This was the first try Akarana scored, and it came after about 12 or 13 minutes. It was a great piece of individual play from Akarana.
By Sfinau Sietu on the other side, and then brilliant offload here from Terrence Schuster. And Pharrell Gray, this is the first of 3 really good tries. You thought that one was well finished. You wait till you see the second one that he scored. But in between his 2 tries, another one came from Akarana, and this one scored by Kalan Clyde, who'd just come onto the field, the replacement dummy half.
Yeah, it was. It was off the back of that try. It was an error straight away from Wellington. This was the very next couple of tackles. Kalan Clyde, who came on and made an impact straight away. He's been fantastic out of dummy half. He scores that one.
And then watch this try, folks. Watch Pharrell Gray here. 1, 2, he got rid of Baker, and then he just had the gas to go on with it. Splendid stuff by the centre.
Yeah, just pace, size. He just brushed off some wayward defenders. The Akarana boys really need to get in front of him and start slowing him down. I'm sure Jeff Morton will have him on the list of priorities throughout the second half. And he scored just before the half-time break, which means Wellington lead. That's right, lead. Going into the second half. Let's hope they can maintain that pressure and keep the game exciting till the very end.
Well, goal kicking could be critical. Fa'avai, who's about to kick this one off here, 3 from 3 so far. 2 of them have been difficult as well, and those have been instrumental to see Wellington in front as well. And now Akarana, a little bit of confusion from the kickoff there. That one not being taken on the full. Could have bounced anywhere.
Fa'avai's actually got a really good kicking game. Kicked a 40-20 in the first half as well, but even from the very first set he completed, he put a massive boot down to the other end. So he's turning around those back 3 and making them work hard. He's just hoping that his defenders can muscle up and put some pressure on Akarana side down the other end.
Here's Clyde looking to bring some more runners back behind the ruck. Pietau, he's been fairly impressive since coming on, the St Paul's college player from last year. Clyde gives it off to Davis. Look at Clyde, he's keen and he's hungry at dummy half, isn't he? And here comes Akarana. An attacking kind of kick that time, but in the end maybe just caught in 2 minds, and it was comfortably taken by the Wellington centre, in fact the winger, Leah Lamisa, who hasn't seen much action in the game so far. That's because Gray's been hogging the ball inside him, and rightly so too.
He had a lot of time there to weigh up his options. Thought about an attacking kick. In the end, it was just a sort of in-between type of kick. You can see straight away the intensity from Akarana has picked up.
Ooh, that was a flat pass, but referee's going to allow play to continue. So Tuialepa, it is. And they've got to their kick again. They're completing much higher this week too, as Arnai. Oh, he's miscued that one. And it is out on the full, and that's unfortunate. A rare unforced error by the Wellington team in this game.
I mean, the idea was there. Get a kick away a little bit early. Put some pressure on Akarana down their own end. Just the execution was off. suppose they are going to have to look at different kicking options with Arnai coming in to take that one, just to take some pressure off Whakai.
Here's Smith giving it to Pietau, who's again making excellent meters post-contact there. Clyde.
Yeah, he's been strong since he's come on, Pietau.
Smith again. Hand's been a little bit dicey so far in the game, Dan Smith. Ratima. Nice cutback run from Liaso. Wellington's defence is looking solid so far in the set as Smith again just takes the carry. Last play now for Akarana. There's Clyde. Gives it out to Ratima. Nice option to put it on the grubber, and that is a try right there. I think Honatana has flown through. Referee Fevers, I think, is going to have a chat to his touchy just to see if he grounded it correctly. I don't think there's going to be too much doubt about this one. Marissa Pukitapu, the touchy on the far side, and it's no try. A penalty has actually been given to Wellington here.
Maybe offside. Yeah, maybe it was just a touch in front of the kicker. It was a great chase by Honatana. Nothing wrong with the competition there. But yeah, maybe what we didn't see was Honatana just being a little bit in front of the kicker. He got caught up in that collision, didn't he? Caleb August.
One of these Wellington players just battling a little bit here. No change to that halftime score, 18-16. And reminding you too that we have a second game coming up this afternoon at 2 o'clock from Rotorua, Waikato Bay of Plenty. The winner of that game is actually going to make the semi-finals. So it's a big game coming up between those two teams who were much improved last week. Here's another look. It's a great kick from Ratima. It was really well chased and executed, and really not much wrong with that other than maybe Honatana. Well, no, maybe about it. Maybe he just had his toenails in front. Oh, Ratima's kick. So Wellington survive. So, yeah, the semi-final lineup next week, we'll see Akarana playing the loser of tomorrow's game between Counties and South Island, and then the winner of tomorrow's game playing the winner of this afternoon's game between Waikato and Bay of Plenty. So the last two games in this round, plenty on them. But Wellington can't make the semis, Wairangi, but their attitude today has been brilliant. Now Vowles, who's been a Mr. Fix-It type player, 5'8" hooker last week, now in the 13 jersey, as Whakai.
Great pressure on the kicker.
Good kick though too, right to the corner, splitting those two defenders. It bounced up pretty well for Honatana here, and here he goes. He's an excitement machine as Honatana. Your kick chase has got to be good when he gets his hands on the ball. Here's Baker. Here's the carry from Tanielu. Haven't seen too much of him so far in the game. Tall, rangy back rower. He had a great game last week, didn't he? Here's Smith, giving it to Davis.
They're still matching that intensity, Wellington Orcas. Every time Akarana try and step it up, and it was unlucky. Yeah, well, rightfully so penalised that his legs just travelled past the horizontal. That was unfortunate because that was a great set and that was the last tackle.
Yeah, the tackle on Sartele. Just flipping him a bit too much. But now Wellington are going to need more pride on their line here. Hold out the Akarana team, who are very keen to take the lead again. Here comes Sartele. Good ruck speed. There's Kalan Clyde. This is tailor-made for him. Look at him jinking and jiving. Oh, Wellington did well to keep him out in the end. As Davis just has a dive from dummy half. He's short too. That was a tackle wasted. Clyde. Ratima. Taken by his opposite number by Anai. Pressure immense on Wellington's line right here. Clyde to Smith. Akarana looking a little bit disorganised as Smith goes direct again. And he's held up.
Desperation defence for Wellington. You can tell that Akarana are just a little rattled why they can't actually get through the line that easy.
Baker. Gordon Omaroa. Here's Tanielu. And Finau Sietu can't get down. Look at all the Wellington players. He's lost it. Well done to Wellington.
Hey, give yourself a pat on the back. Wellington, their defence, fantastic. And now a penalty just to get themselves out of their own 20. Akarana really frustrated here. You start getting desperate when you start looking to sort of throw, low percentage offloads.
Well, I can kind of see why Finau Sietu was keen on the offload there. He had three guys tackling him, which must have been space was around, but in the end he couldn't get it to a teammate. And here comes Gray again. And now here comes Thalio for Wellington. Over the halfway line they go. Vowles. Again looking for some space, but he's taken by Smith nicely that time.
Courageous Vowles. He's not the biggest body in the world. He's digging in.
He really is. Palmer Akavi. Brandon Vowles again. Here's Arnai. Looking to bring Williams into the back line here. Haven't seen too much of Joshua Williams in the game so far. But he's exciting in open space. Here's Fa'avai, who's controlling Wellington's performance nicely. Good little kick there. Gordon Omaroa. He's got the ball, and there's three players on him in a flash.
Great way to back up that penalty out of their own half. The great set, a good kick, good chase. Keep the pressure on down this end of the field.
Tanielu. Now comes Finau Sietu. Baker. Just delayed the pass nicely to his halves partner. Waikari Ratima, and now almost dropped by Jules Baker.
And it's come off the side of the boot too, so.
And here comes Wellington with a full set inside Akarana's half now. Some good return of the football here by Laban Lea Lamisa.
Good territory here once again. That's unlucky.
Gee whiz, that is critical. Wellington had a full set their way.
It was, and it was our man. Our hat-trick man from the first half. Great. Just running around the back there. Maybe just had a little peek to see where he was going to go to, and came up with a knock on. So fortunate for Akarana. Trying to get themselves out of their own half in a hurry and cost themselves a fair bit of territory.
Well, let's see what Akarana can do from the scrum. Here's Honatana. Eventually taken, and some pretty decent defence by Wellington. Well, this Wellington defence has been good. Let's see if it continues. Clyde. And now here comes Davis. But he's well and truly wrapped up. No space for Carlos Davis in this game at all so far. Clyde is still out there playing in the halves now. Here's Tanielu. Tanielu putting a little bit of a move on here. And Tanielu again. It is great Wellington defence. He's just short. Here's Atai. And Davis can't get his arms free for the offload. Here is the last play for Akarana. Atai. There is Baker. Look at the space there. And there's the try. They finally cracked him. And it is Riley Satele He's gone over to score under the posts, and it's Akarana back in front.
He's been strong since he's come onto the field. Last tackle, they just hung back. There was a massive gap there in the middle. Jules Baker recognised that he took off in a hurry, which meant that that defensive line had to close up as quick as possible, and Satele just on the outside there was too big a hole. Too big a hole for Arnai to be able to stop him.
So a nice handy conversion attempt here to give Akarana this 4-point lead. Nehemiah Gordon-Omaroa has got 2 from 3 so far today. 2 from 6 last week for him as well. So his goal kicking is just, well, let's say it's got room for improvement. What a day in Wellington today. Perfect conditions here for this game. And there is the conversion from Gordon Omaroa, 22-18. So Liasso, Clyde and Telianga and Satele getting the tries for Akarana in this game so far. 4 tries to 3. Pharrell Gray getting all of Wellington's tries. 2 of them sensational. Once again, Wellington now trailing Wairangi, and again they've shown way more resilience today than they have in their 2 previous games. So don't know what happened during the week, but something worked in the first 46 minutes of this game anyway.
Yeah, they've turned up today with a fantastic attitude. They probably knew this was going to be a real test for them.
Some concern there for a couple of those Wellington players, but we'll see. There's Atai. Atai's through to Lano Atai. Big chance here for Honatana. This is tailor-made for Ariki Honatana. Oh, great inside ball. That's terrific play. Nixon Liasso's over for his second. That is a terrific score from the Akarana Falcons.
Yeah, great work from the dummy half. Recognised that he had an opportunity out of to play the ball. He opened them up. No markers. Just held off those 2A defenders a little bit too wide. A little bit of a missed tackle. That was a great offload. Thought Honetana was going to get that. Josh Williams come across with a great offload back on the inside for the centre. And that gets him right back. All the momentum shifted now.
Well, it gets them clear, doesn't it, of the 1-score margin. And that takes them clear by 8 points now. The first time they've been in front by that bigger margin. And that was brilliant play from Atai, Honatana, and excellent finishing from Nixon Liasso. Gordon Omaroa, the chance to get the Falcons 10 points clear. Just remind you again, next week in the semis, Akarana are going to play the loser of tomorrow's game between Counties Manukau and the South Island, and the winner of the Counties Manukau South Island game will play the winner of this afternoon's game between Waikato and Bay of Plenty. We hope you can stay with us for that game. That's going to kick off at 2 o'clock. Live coverage of that one coming up on Sky. And Gordon Omaroa, well, yeah, that's his best kick of the day. Fantastic conversion from wide out. It is a 10-point game now, and it is 28 points to 18.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Akarana would know that they have the strike power across the board to create opportunities at any moment. It's taken them a little while, but they're starting to open up this Wellington defence. It's been really spirited, the Orcas defensive line throughout this game. Let's hope they can maintain that. Maybe put some pressure back on Akarana again. Come up with some more points.
Fa'avai restarts play. Wellington, I think we said at the start, they're going to have to play the perfect game to worry Akarana, and so far it's been pretty good. And I tell you what a chance they've got here with Seve dropping the ball stone cold there.
Pretty fortunate. There was a real disjointed line, but that bit of contact there was enough just to jolt that ball free. So, coach killer that error off the first.
I think it was our man Terrence Schuster, number 24, who's just come back onto the field, jolted the ball free there. How good was he in the first half?
Yeah, he needs to get his hand on the ball down this end of the field too. Schuster set up the first try for Gray.
Now let's see how they go now as VAR is put on his backside. With a brilliant tackle from Kalan Clyde. That was textbook. And now Tyrell Toru driven backwards. Now Akarana stepping up defensively. Pama Akavi, they need some go forward here, and it's Paielu who gives them some good front foot running ball this time. Here's Terrence Schuster. Terrence Schuster. He's got good pace for a big lad, hasn't he? But it's bobbled free there, and it's going to be ruled a loose carry. No captain's challenge in these ones, but two men in the tackle there on Terrence Schuster.
Yeah, it's one of those 50-50 ones again. I think the onus is on the ball carrier to really lock that ball up, and that was unfortunate for Wellington. There was a real opportunity for them to put themselves right back into this game.
But you've got to hand it to Akarana's defence on that set of 6-2. There were two very good tackles off the scrum. And straight away, here comes a dangerous play from Akarana. They have retained possession through Gordon Omaroa. Almost lost it there. But Akarana stepping up defensively in that previous set, then forcing the error from Terrence Schuster, now looking good with the ball in hand here. Here's Clyde. Interesting to see him now in the halves for this game with Atai back out there. There he is, Atai. Now Clyde. And now here's Baker. That hard was Jules Baker. And the referee's going to give a penalty. That Wellington defence is penalised there again. Referee not happy with the tackle. Yeah. So Akarana getting all the good ball at the moment. Still plenty of time left in this game. 18 minutes. There's Tanielu. Restarts again. And now Seve. Atai. Clyde. Cutting back nicely is Seve. In fact, that is number 10, Yosefo. Yosefo keen to keep the play going. Atai, Baker, Ratima still there as well. Ratima getting through here. Another try saver by Anai. Akarana hunting another try, and that is another score. Jules Baker's gone over and got it for Akarana, and the momentum just too good, too much for Wellington's defence at the moment. And Akarana, that's 3 tries on the trot to them in the second half.
Yeah, we mentioned towards the beginning of this game that Wellington were going to have to be pretty perfect in order to get one over this Akarana side, and up until a couple of eras ago they were pretty good. An error down that far into the field, a penalty on the 4th tackle, and Akarana, they don't miss a trick when they're down this end. This end, like this sort of part, important part of the game, they know how to come up with points and finish the job.
Well, Baker's second try of the competition got one against Bay of Plenty. And I think what we've seen from Akarana since Kalan Clyde came on and has stayed on and is now playing one wider of the ruck, like first receiver, we've seen real more enthusiasm and execution coming out of the Akarana attacking play.
Yeah, and a great rugby league brain too. Like you can tell that he weighs up his options, gets out of the dummy half when he has to. He starts to track that defensive line backwards and sets it up for the next runner who's coming. So, yes, indeed. I mean, while we saw sort of signs of them trying to pick the intensity up in the first half, every time they did, they came up with a little error. They were sort of their own worst enemies in the end. So.
So 32 points to 18, Gordon Omaroa. He struck that one well too. And up go the flags, so it's 34 points to 18. Remember, Wellington led 18-16 at half-time. So much like last week, when we saw counties trailing Bay of Plenty at half-time, they came through with a fantastic second-half performance, and Akarana are doing the same in this one.
Sometimes it's just a bit of a wake-up call in the first half that they need to get themselves going again. Let's see what Wellington has got here in the last 14 minutes of this game. They've intentionally put some pressure on this Akarana defense. Force an error, or force them to kick deep within their own half. Riley Satelli's been strong since he's come on.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah, in fact, that's the other issue. All of the bench players have really made an impact for Akarana. Clyde, Pietau, Seve and Satele. And there's Clyde again. Talked about Kalan Clyde. He's got a big future in the game, number 15 for Akarana if he wants it. High tackle on him that time.
That fatigue level is starting to get up there for Wellington. A bit lazy.
And here's Atai taking it quickly. That is the winger on that far side, Telianga. And now here comes Yosefo. A handful, isn't he? Bob Yosefo. Seems to be the go-to prop. And now here comes Wellington looking to make some keen defence again on Pietau. Lay offload. Here goes Kalan Clyde off the mark. Atai waits. Sizes up the options. Here's Baker. Good front foot running ball. Gordon Omaroa. Lovely cut out pass, but I reckon he stood on the touchline there. Finau Sietu. Just a little bit wider than he needed to be. So it's going to be Wellington who gets some ball finally, Wairangi. It seems like an age since they had some.
Yeah, indeed. They had options out here. Nice ball out the back. That was a pretty good ball. I think the indication was forward pass first.
Might have just wobbled forward. So Fa'avai. Wellington gets some ball, but the wrong end of the park. And Akarana's defence, I'm sure, will be keen. Force another error off them. That was Tuialepa. And now Williams, the fullback. Pama Akavi. And now here's McMurchie. Vowles, a little inside ball to VAR. Just over 10 minutes to play in this game now. Gonna run it on the fifth play here, Wellington. As Fa'avai gives it to Gray, but this time, Finau Sietu keeps Pharrell Gray quiet. He's up on him in a flash that time. Last play now as Fa'avai puts up a midfield bomb. Not a bad option. We'll see what Honitana's like. He takes it pretty well. And Honitana Fells gets rid of his headgear. And and I don't think that was appreciated by some of those Akarana players.
It's actually pretty impressive how fast he did that.
Still going on with it
here.
here.
Off mid-tackle.
Watch number 13 here for Wellington.
So deceptive. How quick was that? There was maybe just a little push at the end there that Ponetana didn't appreciate.
Yeah, it looked like Tui Alepa was actually the instigator of that. Wellington's right edge centre. All three officials now in there trying to sort it out.
Tries to run up to the stands to retrieve his headgear. Ponetana.
Oh, it's a sin bin. Well. Referee Fevers has sin binned Tui Alepa. We mentioned there was just an issue there, so Anesi Tui Alepa is gone for 10, so advantage here for Wellington. He probably won't get back either. Tui Alepa. Tough for Wellington now. Just 12 on the field. And Akarana looking to make the game even more decisive with some more tries coming up. I'm sure they'll be keen to make them. Here's Yosefo. Atai, Clyde again. And now here comes Pietau. I like the look of this lad.
Yeah.
He's only 18, this boy. He's been playing in the Dean Bell Cup. One of the Auckland sides. Now Atai, here's Clyde running onto it effectively. Plays at great speed, does Kalan Clyde, as Atai gets Akarana moving forward on this left flank. And another try coming up, and it's a hat-trick for Nixon Liasso. And Akarana starting to really flex their muscles now, 38-18.
Yeah, they know all the momentum is in their corner now. Akarana just looking for that nail in the coffin. Comes in threes. Good work from Akarana. All too hard, especially up that right edge for Wellington after losing their centre. The sin bin to be able to hold up the Akarana Falcons. And they've done a great job to weather the storm here today. I don't think they would have expected so much resistance from Wellington, especially in that first half, and to be trailing at half time. I don't think anybody would have been really expecting that. So, acknowledge the Wellington Orcas for turning up today and having a red hot crack. There's still 7 minutes to go in this one, but they can hold their heads up proud and know that they gave it all in their last game of this competition.
So Gordon Omoruo again, and yes, another successful kick for him. So that is 6 from 7 in the game now for him, and it's 40 points to 18. This feels like the game should be a lot closer than it actually has become. But you've got to hand it to Akarana. They have pretty much been blemish-free in the second half. 4 converted tries. And a very good defensive performance from them too since half-time. They really got the wake-up call in the first half they probably needed.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Wellington, unfortunately, just some costly errors, back-to-back penalties, and then having a man sent to the bin. Definitely not going to help your cause. But other than that, despite being maybe a little bit under strength, Wellington side, They turned up today with a great attitude.
Well, they're going to need plenty of that attitude over these last 5 or 6 minutes. They're going to be ending the game here with just 12, with Tuilepa in the sin bin. Now Seve, thinking about that late offload. Atai. And now's Pietau again. Always seems to get through the first tackle. And he's got a penalty for his team. That first contact was head high.
He's a big body. He's got a big future on a young kid. Man, that's it. He might have hurt himself there too. He just hyperextended his knee in that last little exchange just before he fell to the ground.
Yeah, he's a prospect, isn't he? Remember, he's
didn't look good that last fell in a real awkward angle. Wellington muscling up now, needed to happen.
Here comes Akarana again, and it's Clyde again. Clyde! Well, he's just strolled through there, Kalan Clyde, and's got his second try. Well, again, just a bit too classy, Kalan Clyde there for the Wellington defence. And here to change, number 15 gets over for his second try of the game.
Really made a difference when he came onto the field with Kalan Clyde. He's been fantastic for them, causing havoc around that middle of the field. This time, just a quick play of the ball. He got him between a couple of defenders, managed to beat the fullback, and crossed over for a second. And the score is blowing out, but look, hasn't really been reflective of how well or how good this game has been. And with just a little over 3 minutes to go, we've been treated to some pretty quality rugby league throughout the 70 minutes. So.
Well, look, I reckon this second half performance from Akarana has been the best half that we've seen in the 3 games that we've seen them to date. Gordon Omaroa with another conversion attempt, but he's missed that one. So 44 points to 18 it remains. Still a good goal kicking percentage for the fullback, 6 from 8 in the game. Much better this week than 2 from 6 last week for him. So 44 to 18. So Wellington with 2 minutes and 30 to cook something up here with only 12 players on the field. Just hasn't gone right for them in the second half. It'd be fair. Akarana have really stepped it up in the second half. Cut their error rate down. And the execution has been very crisp. Good variety to their attack. As we see Yosefo play that one. And now here comes Uliatia. Again getting those legs pumping. Oh, he's lost it. Was that stripped out of his hands though? Referee says it wasn't. It was just a loose carry. And here comes McMurchie. Looking to give Fa'avai a chance. Good game from Fa'avai. He's managed the game very well for Wellington in this contest. For them is McMurchie again. In fact, that's Tuoi Davies who's out there now wearing 16 for Wellington. Here's Vowles with the next carry. Not the biggest lock forward, but he's tough. Fa'avai.
Surely go back to Gray and see if he can get 4.
There he is, number 4. He's waiting patiently. He's had a quiet second half. Wellington have not been able to get him into the game. Might get a chance now, but Fa'avai takes the tackle. Pama Akavi, and now here is Gray. Going to search between those 2 defenders. It's the last play now for the Orcas. Fouls on this left side. Good little kick. And that might have gone through to score the try. There it is. It's going to be Leah Lamisa. Great kick from Brandon Vowles, executed to perfection. And Wellington do get a consolation score in the second half.
Yeah, it took a ricochet. Bounced off one of the Akarana's legs, I think. Yeah. Jules Baker, who just couldn't pick it up and bounced back on the inside, and Wellington pounced on it. So nice work, finish off this game. And good style. It just, I suppose, goes to prove if they could have had a little bit more possession in the second half and a few less errors and penalties. Might have been able to topple these Akarana Giants, but in the end, just too good.
For SC Fa'avai, looking to keep his perfect goal kicking return today. And he just misses. So 44-22 with just seconds left in this contest. We might not even get time for the kickoff. We'll see. Who are about to go any second. Don't forget at 2 o'clock we've got that second game today coming up in Rotorua. Bay of Plenty against Waikato. In fact, that will be the end of the game. So a very good second half performance from Akarana with 5 tries in the second half. Just the 1 to Wellington. Wellington led 18-16 at halftime, but a really good second half for seeing the Akarana Falcons power away and win this one by 44 points to 22. 8 tries in all for Akarana, 3 to Liasso, the centre. Tries to Kalan Clyde, who got 2 of them. Delianga Satele and Jules Baker was the other try scorer for Akarana, with Gordon Omaroa kicking 6 from 8 in the game. And for Wellington, well, Pharrell Gray in that first half, 3 tries, all converted by Fa'avai, and just a try at the end there by Laban Lea Lamisa.
Yeah, they just went back to simple rugby league in the second half, minimised their errors, chugged away up the middle, turned the pressure valves back onto Wellington. Wellington couldn't sustain it. Towards the back end of that second half, Wellington started to open up. We saw that classic Akarana Falcons style of rugby league that we've seen throughout this tournament and through years gone. But they'll be pretty happy with their efforts, Wellington. They should be. They were looking the better team throughout most of the game, especially that first half. Unfortunate, just it pulled away from them a little bit too far in the end. You see Francis Ledger in there just acknowledging their efforts today. Like, that would mean a lot to those Wellington boys, hearing from your Akarana Fox legend like Francis Ledger and what he has to say. He would have seen a lot of quality out of this side from Wellington, so they should be proud of their efforts today.
100%. No question about it. So Akarana will get their 3rd win in a row to go with their earlier wins today. So they'll qualify for the semi-finals. They're going to play the loser of tomorrow's game between counties Manukau and the South Island in their semi-final. That'll be a terrific match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they're going to have to be good. They wouldn't be really happy with their efforts over the last 2 weeks. I know they want to be at their very best come next week, because either counties or the South Island side, a very quality rugby league team. And, South Island maybe the best game of rugby league I've seen out of this tournament last week. So, look, Akarana is going to have to be good. It's going to be a hell of a clash, that first game.
Yeah, they'll be pumped. No question. So, beautiful day for rugby league here in Wellington today, with Akarana winning at Rugby League Park by 44-22. We're just standing by for the after-match interviews for you. We're going to hear from first player. I think we're going to hear from Wellington. Oliver Tyrell Toru is with Fred de Jong. Right, well, unfortunately, we've got a audio problem, so we're not going to be able to get to our after-match interviews today, but let's have a look at what's coming up for you. Tomorrow, we've got that South Island Counties game from Dunedin at midday, but coming up shortly, kicking off in about 20 minutes, it's an important game for Bay of Plenty and for Waikato. The winner of this game is going to go through to the semi-finals. Technically, Waikato can draw the game and still go through, so it's an interesting little dynamic at play here. Bay of Plenty, though, have to win that game to go through. So still a lot to come up here a little bit later on. That's where we are at the moment. The Akarana Falcons confirming top spot. And they're going to play, as we touched on earlier, the loser of the South Island Scorpions Counties Manukau game tomorrow in the semi-finals, which, of course, are going to be played next Saturday. Both games back-to-back next Saturday. So there we are, folks. We hope you enjoyed the first of two games today. Stand by, though. We've got game number 2 coming shortly between Bay of Plenty and Waikato. We hope you can join us then.